So this piece seems to just come out of here. It's got, you know, clip-ins up here and over here. So the only screw is right about here holding that in. It seems to be just cutouts around there. There might be one more screw back deep in here. I have to find out, or maybe another pop-out. That was the piece one, which gets ready to take out the other piece, which is hiding the heater core. Clip right here, and this piece right here, as you can see, this is just a snap in here. There is one screw right here that I have to take out, and then we'll see how that one comes out. It looks like it's just also snapped in around there, and then right behind there is where the heater core is at. Well, I ran into a bit of a snag because this, although it does separate down here, doesn't seem like this piece just wants to come out without taking out this center console around the shifter. So that's not going to be a lot of fun, but that's the next step, I guess, in order to get to this panel, which is the real panel which hides the heater core. Step one is to get these gauges, or these things to come out of here. And if you kind of carefully get your finger underneath the main thing, you can push up on that and it'll come up. Alright. Okay, there's not any real screws. This thing's popping up, but I haven't got it out yet. It looks like there might be a screw underneath here. I'm not sure. You might need a real short screwdriver. Gotta get this plate off of here and disconnect the wires on that cigarette lighter and on this little seat heater before we can get to whatever bolt or object's holding this thing in. So that's the next step. So in order to get this thing out, I had to push down on this thing, and there's a little lip on it which allows the radio to come out. And then you can disconnect the radio wires back here, and then this thing will just pop right up. So don't put a lot of pressure prying this thing up, because it's this lip right here you have to push down on to get it from underneath the radio. You do need the code for these radios, I guess, when you disconnect them. I do have mine, but anyway, there's a security code on that. So that was the next step. Now I'll look behind here to see
you do realize you're not supposed to be on your feet.
if there are some screws or something to get that thing out. And as fate would have it, there is yet another screw down below when you get these two screws out of here. And then it should come out. Yep. These two wires came out off the heater.
Oh.
And this one, this clip, just pushed down. I guess you should mark them so you get the right one. And you just have your cigarette units there. Inside here you got what appears to be a bolt, a screw that may go into this, to this unit there. No signs of the heater core yet. I don't know, I have to look up underneath here, see if there's any screws to come out to get this piece out. So that's the next phase. We have to work on getting this off so I can get this over top of here. I assume this just comes off here. I have yet to do that. These are relatively easy. They just have squeezes on the side, as you can see. This one's on the front. And in the middle on these, same type of thing. You just gotta find the right point to squeeze, or one of those things that they pull back in order to get the release. The middle one turns about to be this thing, slides in and out here. As you can see, this presses out and then it comes out. So the bottom one will be the same. The slide is in this direction. This little middle piece slides, and that releases it. Weird, different. Well, this job has turned into a pain, because now to get this piece off down here, if you look down in here, you see, and there's a screw right here and one in the middle. In order to get to those, we got to take out the center console, which means it looks like in the ashtray, and perhaps some other bolts in the back. Got to take this piece off here. What a pain, huh? Thank you, BMW, for making this such a pain in the ass. This thing in the back, I thought had a screw in that hole, but it doesn't. So I think with those two screws out, it should come out, but probably has to pull backwards a bit in order to slip out. We'll see. So far, when I put pressure on it, it doesn't seem to really want to disconnect here. So that's my next challenge. Aha! There is two screws underneath that when you finally get it out. This piece, which is weird, went into this like so, and this little thing was in it to pull it out. You pull this thing out, you bend this up, and then finally this piece comes out to reveal our last two main screws. Haha. Now after putting a lot of pressure on this thing, trying to push it backwards, looks like that center screw has to come out there to release it. So, good thing I didn't break that, huh? Of course, there's no room to work, so you gotta push this up from the bottom in order to get down in there. Now you can see that screw. And you can see now this is free, and it just came right out. And sure enough, there's those two screws for the side. Hopefully that's maybe all as far as you need to go to get this one out, because this thing's still stuck like a son of a gun underneath here. So maybe if I can just get this screw out, maybe it'll come out, and that's as far as I need to go. Now the bad news is this piece is all one molded piece right here. You can see it has a bolt here, and I did find when you pull this thing back, you can see there is a bolt, a screw right there. So if I can remove that, maybe it will hang down enough for me to see the heater core. But if I really want to get this thing out, I might have to take the glove box out. Definitely got to take that screw out. So, and it looks like when you drop this piece down, maybe this thing will come down from behind this thing without breaking it. You can see it wants to pull, but it's definitely tied in through that screw. Sure enough, when I got that screw out of there, this dropped down. It wants to almost break the, it's just a foam thing right here. I might let it break. Just taking one of those out, but there's where we're heading. for the heater core, but you still can't see all that well. I'm not sure if that means this piece got to come out or what. Now this piece wants to come out, as you can see, but there is one screw right up in here which you can get to by pushing and putting the screw like this. So I'm going to take that out, see if we can get this center piece out. At least maybe I can see it a little bit better in there. So we're just about ready to move this thing out. I moved the rubber booty out of here and almost got this out, but as you can see, aha, there's a stupid screw right here and another one right here. Well, that's what was holding that baby in. Well, I've decided that I think I will take this, that's a 10mm bolt there, out and take out this side. It looks like I might have to pull the dash to get it all out, but that way I can get this floppy piece out of my way, get down in there better. I really don't want to break this molded piece because then I'm afraid it might squeak later on, so that's about the only way I can think of to avoid breaking it. So that's what's the next step. So we're on to the glove box. Looks like there's a screw there and one down here, one over here, one there. So we'll take those out. Hopefully it'll pop right out. Wouldn't you know it, I got this thing all ready to go out. It's hanging. Sure enough, if you look way up in there, there's a screw. Aha. So don't yank on this thing, glove box, too hard until you get that screw behind that vent out. Once you get that screw out, which is right up there, as you can see, this thing starts to pull out. There are two wires right there to the glove box, which I'm sure I'll have to undo. Let's see if there's anything else. It pulls down. Got wire coming over here in the middle, and then one over here. Just clipped on. I had to push that one out from this side in. I had to take that light out. As you can see, there's a little clip edge right there and there that made that one come through. That was a real pain. I thought it was clipped on from the outside, but it's not, from the inside. So now that you see that, here's what's behind it. In case you want to know, there's your computer. This looks like to be something maybe with a heater control module unit, perhaps. And as you break this over, you can see it's going to come right out. It was not, didn't have any extra screws once I got that far. That's it. Okay, so here's the summary. We have the piece that was here out, and we've taken out everything, you know, that's in the front up to the controls. But now you're left with a view of your heater core here, which would match up with the manual, which says you just remove this driver's side lower panel. But you still have this venting stuff in the way, and you still have this kind of retainer piece or plastic in the way, which, and you also have a bar coming down which left over from that that held in that dash foam type of piece. So this is not by any means something that's easy to get to. I think that the manual, which talks about the 325i, may have been in 6-cylinder. This is a 6-cylinder unit. May have, you know, given me a overly optimistic view. It doesn't, I don't see any definite leaks, you know, evident in the pipes or anything. I know there's the O-rings are behind these pipes that go into the unit. So, you know, it could be that, you know, I have some smell coming in from the head gasket and coming through the filter. That's possible. I'm going to check that out. But I think in order to get to that unit, because you see, even if you take this unit out, you've got a housing that's all part of this ducting system. This doesn't want to come out very easily, so this would still track way up underneath the dash. There's a screw here, there's a screw here, there's a couple on the other side, but you can't get to this one very well. It's a star type of arrangement. So now you're coming over here and you're thinking, well, maybe it's better to take the dash, the top dash off. I don't know, but I think that in order to really get into it, you probably end up in this model with the controls that spin like this, possibly having to take out the full dash, and that's not going to be fun. The car is drivable like it is. I know it looks like a mess, but as you can see, if you do get this far and you just want to inspect yours, at least, you know, you haven't really disconnected anything. You haven't disconnected any hoses in here that would make it undrivable. But again, it's not looking like something that's just going to come out of there easily. Now, I'm going to have to check with the dealer and see whether or not they know something more about getting it out of here. If it involves taking out the upper dash, maybe if you took out the upper dash, perhaps by taking this out you could come at it from the top side down. I don't know. Yet to be seen. Well, after much more research on the E36 and removal of the heater core, what I found was that you basically have to take off the steering wheel, the airbag, the dash, the radio, this, so that you can pull this thing up the top. And you can see why. I mean, this is the case that it's surrounded in. There's really no way to get down in here. And there are a couple of bolts over here to remove to get the upper dash out. And in reading more threads about getting this unit out, you have to be careful of the airbag, so you should disconnect the battery post before you undo this. Otherwise there's something that communicates with the computer over here, which will eventually give you an error code and cost quite a bit of money to reset that, apparently, at the dealer. So the thread that I found on the internet to remove this talks about bringing it out and actually bringing it through here. I haven't tried that yet, and apparently there is some threads that talk about, you know, an LED or car light being in there to replace. So that is something I could do. But and there's a couple of one good picture with the whole dash removed out on the internet. If you go to some of the BMW forums, maybe you can find that, but search under the E36 heater core removal and replacement. Good luck. I think I'm going to end up having it either done or waiting till where I can spend a week of time or something and just not worry about the time constraints. But you're definitely going to have to shut your car down, and as you saw from the inside of the firewall, it's not an easy job to even get to the heater core pipes and so forth. All this to eliminate that nasty sweet smell that happens when the heater core apparently goes bad. So I may try again, some liquid type of plugs, because mine is kind of a small leak before I go to this great extent. But good luck to all of you who are out there dealing with the same problem that I am. Hope that this was somewhat helpful. So this is the gizmo I rigged up to flush the heater core. I wanted hot water, so I ran this tube down, and this is the only place you can get in here. And I still don't know if that's going to work to flush this thing out, because I don't know if there's a separator. This is the air conditioning side, but you know, it's coming from both ends, so I'm hoping that that's going to go in and I can siphon it back out. Now we'll see what happens, but that potentially is the only solution I can think of that might be able to get rid of some of that smell. So I got a little tiny bit of detergent in there, and that's it. We're going to see if we can flush this thing out so I don't have to tear out this all apart, because what I did is I bought a bottle of this, which is 15 bucks, and they say that it can or it's a AutoZone, or I bought it at Performance, but it's a product K-Seal that is apparently for 15 bucks can plug the heater core, and it seems like it might have, because mine was a minor leak. So the rinse is about to commence. I'll let you know whether or not it worked, so potentially you can try it. Hopefully it does. So when I did that, that box didn't fill up. The good news was it went straight through, and there's a place to go underneath the car. They were smart enough to have a exit so you can see all the water that came out underneath the car, which means these little babies right here are where the exhaust or whatever goes from that particular rinse. Now I doubt that it got all the way down in on this side, which means I'm going to need to try to figure out how I can get in here and rinse out this side. Maybe that'll do it.